Hi there, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of the Nova Scotia Kitchens podcast, Ash's Fermented Buckwheat Pancakes. I'm Sherry Graham, and on today's show, you get to visit in Ash's beautiful farmhouse kitchen with me. This summer seems to be one of charming, beautiful farmhouse kitchens and gluten-free fermented recipes from the Annapolis Valley. Ash graciously welcomed me into her kitchen on a day of torrential downpours alternating with sun. We hit it off immediately and chatted a lot about chickens, land, permaculture, and farm animals before getting into all the recipe details. Luckily for you, if you're not into chicken chat, I edited out a lot of it. Her adorable kids were also around during the visit, so you'll hear their sweet voices chiming in too. Ash goes through the whole buckwheat fermenting process for you in detail and gives suggestions for customizing it to your preference. I'm super excited about this recipe because it's one that my husband can eat, and I really, truly think that they are delicious. If you're a new listener, welcome! I'm so glad that you're here. I saved a timely little clip from our visit, and you'll hear it at the end of the show. Nikki Jabor invited me as a guest on her radio show, The Weekend Gardener, which will air tomorrow, August 5th, to talk about the podcast and my garden. I am delighted and really looking forward to it. And last week when I visited Ash, we chatted about Nikki. At the time, I had no idea she even listened to the podcast, so hi Nikki. I think you'll especially enjoy the clip I saved for the end. Links to the things that we talk about and pictures of Ash's beautiful kitchen are in the post over at novascotiakitchens.com. She has a simple, minimal farmhouse aesthetic, and once again, it is definitely worth visiting the post to take a look. And there's also a picture of her sweet dog Ernie who joined in too. He is so cute. All right, here we go.
Her kitchen is so clean. I don't think I will ever look that clean.
This is such a great spot though. And of course you see pictures of this spot and that spot, and then you see it all and you're just like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. Well, it used to have upper cabinets all around the whole thing. And then
So was this an old house that you renovated?
It actually was built. It was built to be old, but it's only 7 years old.
Okay.
So they built it to emulate his grandmother's house.
Oh,
So the stairs are really narrow and they kind of creak a bit.
Yeah.
It's the plank flooring upstairs, but it's actually a newer home.
Oh, okay.
But then, so they built these cabinets with the little pulleys on them, so to make it look old.
Yeah.
So the whole upper was like that too, but we took all the uppers out.
So how long have you been here?
A year and a couple weeks.
Oh, okay. So that's not that long.
No. We just let me try this, see if I can get some. We just moved here last year.
Okay. And where were you before that?
Just down the bottom of the mountain.
Okay. So thinking from Instagram, I was like, I never pictured you anywhere.
I know. That's what everybody says.
I
know. Everyone's like, you just feel like you've been here forever, and because I think I've been planning a farm for about 10 years.
Yeah.
We lived in our old house for 9.
Yeah.
And so every year it was like, this is the year.
It's gonna happen.
And then it was just then we'd have a kid, and I was out of work, and just didn't happen logistically.
Yeah.
And so it's just so funny because then once we moved in, it was just the week we moved in, I had the chickens, and then it was I had more chickens, and then I decided to hatch out chickens, and my husband was not really into it at all. He was just kind of whatever, do whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah.
But now he's really into it, and he would to do the farm thing as an actual thing, and not just
hobby
just
kind
a
of
hobby.
stuff. Yeah.
So so we have the pigs out there now, and hopefully,
How many pigs do you have?
We just have the 2 right now. We're hoping next year because we got approved for the Seaport Market in Halifax.
Oh, nice.
So we've gotten approved for pastured heritage chicken.
Yes.
And eggs and
That's awesome.
And so I think next year we're going to have maybe 25 or 30 pigs and put them in the woods.
Whoa.
We have olive eggers and Easter
olive eggers too.
eggers and Americana, which aren't laying yet.
Oh, okay.
And then my barred rocks, and I have
Yeah.
like a couple barnyard mixes and
Yeah.
3 Dorkings.
Ooh, we don't have any Dorkings, but other than that, we have a lot of the same. And do you have anything else? The dogs?
The dogs and
Children,
2
of course.
sheep. We have 2 baby doll sheep and 2 more coming.
Oh,
So
fun.
yeah,
Fun,
so
fun.
I'll breed registered South Down baby doll sheep.
Oh.
So we we have a booth at both markets, the Seaport and the Brewery Market.
Oh, okay.
So we just are trying to see where we fit. And,
Yeah.
and I think we may stay with both, but our intention is like we'll pull our garlic hopefully in the next few weeks.
Yep.
And then start at the market. And then
Okay.
we have cut flowers down the street, so we collaborated with another farm down the street and
Oh,
put
nice.
them in their field.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
So we have those, and those are just kind of starting to come. So
Yeah.
this year will be, the garlic and the flowers, and then we're just applying for our license in order to sell chicken at the market.
Right.
So we're just kind of waiting
Okay.
on that
Yeah.
to see, and if we get it in time, which I don't know, I do still think that there's a lot of paperwork
Yeah.
involved with it. So if we get it on time, then we'll do some chicken this year. Otherwise,
That's awesome.
the pigs and the chickens will
Yeah,
happen
yeah.
in the spring.
Yeah.
So
Oh, very cool. So what do you want to make?
well, I was thinking I have I fermented buckwheat.
Oh, this is intriguing already. I love it.
And
Yeah.
so our oven broke a little while ago, like before the summer. So what I usually do with this is it's just buckwheat groat.
Yep. Which you can get at Bulk Barn.
Yep. And you just soak 2 cups of it, and then overnight or whatever.
In how much? In water.
And just until it covers the buckwheat.
Okay.
So just soak it, and then strain it off. And when you strain it off, I was gonna wait for you to do it, but then you have to let it rise, and so it wouldn't have been ready. But you strain it off, like so when you just strain it through something like this, and it'll get like goopy. So it pours through these, but like it catches the buckwheat because they get bigger, and then it looks like egg white.
Oh, like stringy goopy.
Stringy
Sticky.
goopy, but then don't rinse it, because that's good
Okay.
if you want the stringy goopy.
And what's the finished product?
Well, bread, but we're gonna make pancakes today.
Okay. I'm excited.
Because
That's all.
so Marissa, actually, when my oven broke, I was like, I don't know what to do with my buckwheat because my son can't have gluten. And so I didn't want to just be making with gluten-free, like just the gluten-free flour, whatever.
Those starches and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I just need something that's healthier. What else can I do with this buckwheat? Because I was making bread all the time with it, but I tried to put it in our toaster oven and it just was a fail. So it didn't work. So she said, bake pancakes. And so that's what I've been doing. So once you soak it, you put it in the blender, and you put a cup of water and half a teaspoon of salt, and blend it all up.
Yeah.
Until it makes this kind of liquidy sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then sit it on your counter with a towel over it for about 12 hours. And it gets kind of bubbly. And so when you see the bubbles, then that means that it's fermented. And it's ready to make kind of whatever you want. So you can make, I know she makes I think you can make like pizza crust and pancakes and bread and muffins. You can do kind of whatever you want with this. With that base.
That's very. My husband actually can't eat. It's funny because I'm so into food, all the things, and I can eat anything. But he can eat a very limited number of things.
Yeah.
But buckwheat is one of them that he can eat. So he makes a buckwheat pancake that he really likes. But
yeah,
if he can do this.
Well, so I was making buckwheat pancakes, and my husband was like, "These are disgusting. Don't make them." So this is
I'm not eating anymore.
buckwheat flour from Bulk Barn.
Yeah.
And
the light stuff is what Adam uses. The light organic.
Oh, maybe that's what.
So that's the difference. The other stuff's
it's really gross.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not eating this anymore. So I learned this kind of very forgiving recipe, which I had been using to make bread for a couple of years. And So with the bread, once you rise it, you just pour it into a bread pan and bake it in the oven, and it turns into a loaf.
Whoa! And what's the texture like when it?
It's good. Like it's dense, like really dense. So it's not fluffy bread or anything like that. But now I've added like different things. Like I've done cinnamon and raisin. I've done. You can put things like caraway or like different herbs and spices in it. You can do anything really with it. It's super forgiving.
That is very cool.
And you can add. So what we'll do today is I'll make it with eggs. My son can't have eggs either. So what I usually make his pancakes, I just do like the egg substitute with flax.
Yeah.
So anyway, with the pancakes, I don't measure a lot, but I will do my best to give you some measurements.
People always like specifics.
So
I am very much, when I'm cooking at home, it's very much like, oh yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, when it feels right. And when you, like all these vague terms that aren't helpful to a lot of people.
And actually, to be perfectly honest though, this is a type of batter, like that's your base.
Yeah.
So, it's super forgiving. Like you can do anything with this really. So even if the measurements get mixed up, like Marissa gave me what she might sort of use for measurements, and I lost them, and then I just kind of chucked stuff in. So
awesome.
As long as you have all of these ingredients, then you're pretty well good to go. So that's
awesome. So you've met Marissa in person?
Once, actually.
One time. How you know people like online forever, and then it's like, you actually met a person, like a human person.
You get human person. Well, actually, Marissa's daughter. I think she would disclose this, so that's why I don't feel bad disclosing it. But her daughter's celiac, so she can't have gluten, so she makes like crazy stuff. And her stuff's really good. Like gluten stuff's like not really that good. Her stuff always looks like really lovely and good. So I talked a lot to her when we found out that my son couldn't have gluten.
Yeah.
And she was just really helpful in giving me different pointers and recipes. So she makes a sourdough.
Yeah. I've seen pictures of her breads.
Which I'm going to get a starter from her, and I know that she does use this, or she used it to start the starter, but I'd like to get a starter from her and make some of her sourdough.
Nice.
I'm just trying to think of if I have everything. Salt, sugar. I have sugar.
In most episodes, because people are like, I'm talking, we're chatting or whatever, and people are like, oh no, I forgot the whatever the key ingredient is.
Oh yeah.
Because you just get distracted and you're not just kind of doing it. So take your time, pause and think.
As long as there's baking powder, salt, and sugar, I find you're fine. And then I usually do chuck some gluten-free flour in.
Okay.
For people who aren't gluten-free, you can use spelt, or you can use like all-purpose flour or whatever. So I usually do, I would say like, I'm going to add like half a cup of flour just to start. And then what I usually do is I just like kind of gauge the consistency as I go, and then I'll just dump more flour in if I need to.
Gotcha.
So half a cup of, if you do, like if you like really dense pancakes, then you can do more flour, and if you don't even really need to do flour if you don't want to. I just find it helps make them a little bit fluffier. So we'll do half a teaspoon of salt. And so the 2 cups that I did, I separated them. So this is half. When you soak it and then you blend it and then you cover it overnight, it'll rise to about there. And then I usually separate them, so I'll make a batter and pancakes one morning, and then the next morning I'll have batter to make again. I'll just stick this in the fridge, and it stops the fermentation, and then you can just make the batter right away. You can pull it out and make it the next day. Okay. So I'm making this one with eggs. I usually don't. So I do about a teaspoon, a little bit more of coconut sugar, but you can use regular sugar. And about a teaspoon of baking powder. we do muffins, and actually, I know a lot of people that do muffins. I just can't do muffins in my toaster oven because they just don't.
Oh yeah, because your oven situation. Right.
My neighbor was like, anytime you want to make anything, just pop on over and use my oven.
That's so sweet.
So once I get some sourdough, I'm going to usually do like 1 tablespoon of oil.
Okay. And this is actually very similar to Adam's recipe. The ingredients: the egg, the olive oil, baking powder, and sugar. That's all that's in his too. But he uses the light flour in it. But this might be a little variation that
I think. Well, and I think with the groat, where it's its original form, it's kind of like oats. Like this, like the whole oat is better for you than a rolled oat.
Yeah.
So I think, and it's fermented.
Yeah.
So there's like that component to it as well, where it's like it's for fermentation. Yep. Yeah. So and you can tell, like I do find that the texture.
So how do they? Because I know they're these really cute little shapes, like they're the sweetest little shapes. So as they break down, do they still have like bite and texture in the finished product?
Well, no.
Or do they like totally break down
because you blend it?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Once you soak them, you can squish them between your fingers, but they're like still the full groat.
Okay.
And you have to make sure that they're not kasha. They have to be the groat.
Because kasha is toasted, right?
Yes.
Right.
So it has to be just raw buckwheat groat.
Okay.
And then
groat is the worst word ever. It sounds so groat.
Groat.
What's a groat? Okay, sorry.
So then you just soak them and it doesn't necessarily have to be overnight, but usually I'll stick them on in the morning and then that night I'll blend it and then it'll like ferment overnight and then in the morning I'll have batter to make. Or even if you soak them in the afternoon or whatever. So and so then it gives you quite a bit, and you can add kind of as much flour as you want. So I've used, that's my go-to all-purpose gluten-free flour. I like that one.
Yeah, I haven't even noticed this one at our.
I find the other ones taste too much like beans, like.
With the chickpea flour?
Yeah.
A lot of them have that in it.
And I don't think that's the healthiest one, but if we're only using a little bit.
Corn. Yeah. Yeah, that's way better than most of them.
Yeah. So you're getting pans? Oh, yeah, that's a good
Pans.
Who needs pans? I always find this recipe too is tricky. Like some days I put it on the pan and it just like beautifully lifts off and flips. Mm-hmm. And then other days, I think the humidity today.
I was just going to say, I wonder if the humidity.
Yeah. Because today we made them this morning and they were pretty hard to flip. But for the most part, I do find that it's a nice recipe to, like, the consistency is nice. So I usually taste it before I put it on. And then add more salt or more sugar, but it's usually pretty, like about a tablespoon and half a teaspoon.
And so with this, you could also do like blueberries or whatever, chocolate chips or cinnamon or anything.
We do, actually, Anderson likes it with chocolate, and I've done raspberries, and I've done bananas and walnuts, and I've done,
banana walnuts.
Yeah.
And can you then, I'm just trying to envision the texture here, like, can you then, like, you make a bunch and then toast them?
Yeah.
And go, they go together, and they won't fall apart or whatever.
They're actually, it's kind of like an oatmeal pancake.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, see, these are just lifting like a cloud.
Yeah, perfect.
The ones earlier did not.
What are you making?
Pancakes.
Did you want some? What do you like on your pancakes? Gone.
And he's over it.
Aww. So cute.
I wasn't actually making them for you. I made them for breakfast, but okay. Yeah, so if you can't have eggs, you can substitute. I do 1 tablespoon of like the flax seed powder to 3 tablespoons of water, but
for 1 egg.
For 1 egg.
Yeah.
So you can use that as in replacement of the egg, but I do find that it definitely changes the whole consistency, especially for something that's also gluten-free.
Yeah.
I do find it makes a difference.
Are they more like gummy?
No, they're like they stick more. They crumble a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like the egg really holds these together. Feel free to have some. Like they're just like a really nice pancake consistency.
I'm just gonna eat one just so I can see what it's like.
You can put some syrup on it. Yeah.
I could. And they smell like nice buckwheaty. Like
Yes. Well, I do find that buckwheat flour can go rancid.
Mm-hmm.
So I do find that if you are cooking with buckwheat that isn't fresh, like fermented, that it can really have a strong buckwheat taste. And I think that was why my husband hated them.
Yeah.
He does like these.
Yeah, like it's very mild and they have a lovely texture.
Yeah.
Those are,
Yeah, I really do. I'm really happy with. We make these a lot, especially because I feel like they're healthy. Like, and I'll keep these for him. Where I can't make that bread because we don't have our oven right now. I'll keep them and use those as bread because I don't find them super sweet. And he can put peanut butter on them or whatever.
That's delicious. Like, that's, I think, better than pancakes.
And I find the buckwheat groat cheaper. Like, you can buy it in bulk and you can store a lot of it. And
So you said you did 2 cups that you soaked, and what you were using today was about half of that?
half of the batter. So the 2 cups, then you drain the water.
Yeah.
Blend it with a cup of water and half a teaspoon of salt. I can write it out for you.
Yeah.
And then blend it up just until it's all smooth.
Yeah.
And then pour it back into the same bowl and cover it. I recommend a glass bowl. Cover it with a towel for like overnight. And then in the morning, I separate that and I'll make the batter out of half.
Oh, okay.
And then the other half can sit in the fridge for quite a while. You can make muffins of the other half or whatever you want.
Really, really good. And they don't have that
Buckwheat
buckwheat flavor that people think of when they think, oh, it's, buckwheat, whatever. So what do you put in your cookies? Now I'm curious about them.
This recipe is from this cookbook, and it's amazing.
Oh, I have it.
Oh.
I have it, but I haven't really made anything.
We literally make this recipe every other week.
Oh, and is that, it's Oshi Glows, but which one is it?
Every
is that
day.
Every day?
It's the flourless peanut butter cookies, and they usually are better consistency than that. Like those, it's just too humid.
I see that you've made it lots because
it's like,
as a good cookbook should be.
Yeah. The other one that we've made a lot of is the one.
Oh, coconut! I love coconut. Switching cookies.
Is it after?
And do you use regular chocolate chips or no? Because they would have dairy in them.
We use like you can buy mini they're like carob chips, but they're not
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were going to show me something else.
Actually,
Those
you just
and they smell really good. Oh, did I?
Those ones are also amazing.
Okay.
But
She wants to spell it. Oh.
those ones are really good. We've made lots of those.
Nice. Oh, that sounds so good.
Her cheese sauce. I don't know if you can. Okay. Okay, then that's it, buddy. No more. But like this one, I find really good.
Oh, peanut butter balls, yum.
And we've made this one. I get together with 2 friends every year.
Yeah.
And we make peanut butter balls.
Oh, coconut flour. That's what
Yeah.
we use. Yeah.
And we like make them and then we all freeze them. And
Smart.
we make
Sounds really simple.
the traditional one that's
Yeah.
like icing sugar
Yeah,
and
yeah,
peanut
yeah.
butter and whatever. And then
Yeah.
we make this one. And we all always prefer these
those ones. The ones that are the regular ones are too
They're
sweet.
too
Like,
sweet.
and you take one bite and you're like, oh, my teeth hurt.
Yeah, no, and my like Daniel loves these ones. Like, so
Yeah.
I usually make like I'll like triple this batch for Christmas and stick them in the freezer.
Yeah.
And have them over Christmas, and it's just nice because they're not super bad for you. Like
No.
there's not really much in them that you can do them without the puffed rice if you want or the Rice Krispie.
Nice.
That's the other one that I've done that was really good. I wish I could find that cheese sauce. The cheese sauce is amazing because
What
there's
did she put in it?
like vegetables.
Okay.
So you can make like
This is like, where'd that color come from?
you can do nutritional yeast.
Yes.
But it's nice because there's like legit vegetables. So if you have kids that don't
awesome.
eat a lot of vegetables, you can trick them.
I love it. Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you for coming all this way. That's amazing.
Oh, it was so
And
much
for
fun.
my little present. So excited.
Oh, you're so welcome. It was great. Thanks so much to Ash for welcoming me into her beautiful kitchen. A printable recipe for the buckwheat pancakes, as well as links to other things that we mentioned and photos from our visit are up at novascotiakitchens.com. A big welcome to those of you who are new listeners. I am so glad that you're here. When you visit novascotiakitchens.com, at the bottom of any page, you can subscribe to receive new post notifications by email. So then you'll get to see pictures from my visits and it will all magically appear right in your inbox. You can find Ash on Instagram as Turner Family Farm, and soon you'll be able to find her in person at the Seaport and Brewery Markets in Halifax. Thanks to Julian Smith for the podcast music, and to Adam Graham for technical help and for generally being awesome. And of course, thanks to you for listening. You can connect with me on Instagram at Nova Scotia Kitchens or on the Facebook page. I'll be back with a new episode in September. But I love them just because it's tidy. You can just kind of mow around. It's just straightforward. They're contained.
Yeah, well,
like
Nikki Jabor swears by them.
Yeah.
She, that's all she has in her garden.
Yeah.
Like 50 of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that said something, because she's a gardener extraordinaire. Nova Scotia.
She knows things.
She knows all the things.
Yeah.
Yay, we get some cookies. And this cookies?
Yeah, can you put your hand out flat? Because if you hold it, it's getting pretty mushy. There you go.